Good morning or good afternoon for some of us. Thank you everyone for joining. And today we're going to talk about best tips to improve our time management. My name is Nadia Touch with Coaching by Nadia, and I help professionals to find balance in their lives, find strength in the bodies and lives through mindset, nutrition, and fitness, so we can have the life that we desire. So thank you so much for joining, and let's dive into the conversation. I'm sharing the screen with you. Give me thumbs up if you see it. Awesome. Okay, so please note that the information here is not a replacement of medical advice. We are not physicians. We do not diagnose or cure diseases. This is just a suggestion or a different angle, maybe the angle that you've heard before, to look at the particular area of our life. So this is an interactive workshop on how to manage priorities and time while protecting from overwhelm. We're going to learn 168 rule, best tips for prioritizing, how to do effective time blocking, best tips not to procrastinate. Here's my second language. I see to not, and I say not to. I like that. And I will invite you to take an action. Sure, feel free to use the chat actively. Why do we need time management? Why are you here? Why are you in this workshop? Why are you listening? One of the answers I hear is priorities. I want to make sure that I do the things that are important. So why is time management important for you? Go ahead and use the chat. If it feels to you a little much to use the chat and you want to think about it, please choose to think about it, because this is for you, for your work. Because I have so many things I want to accomplish. I have too much to do. Oh, yes, because we have important stuff to do. Effectively make use of our time. Beautiful. Get everything done. Stay focused. Yes. All right. Keep them going if you like. Thank you. So a little bit about me. A picture on the left is actually one of the images of the place I was born in, St. Petersburg. This is actually Peterhof, the suburb that used to be a summer residence for Romanovs. And I graduated with education and psychology degrees. And in 2003, I moved in the United States and quickly found myself being sick and tired mom of being sick and tired. And it was my personal decision, besides just being in a different country, different language, just all those things together. And my immune system was low. I just did not feel good. And I decided to go on my own personal journey and discover really what do I need to do for my own mindset. Hey, I got a psychology degree. I got to fix what is in between my ears. I went on the journey of looking into nutrition. What can I do to help my body feel better, more energy, and heal? And fitness. When the chiropractor who would see me every week said, hey, Nadia, I don't know what you're doing in the gym, but please stop. This was a signal for me. I got to figure out what exactly do I need to do when I exercise. Years later, in fact, 12 years later, I created this picture was taken 3 days ago around holidays. We talked about how not to overeat, but I created a system where I teach how to be intentional in what we already eat, in what we already do in our movement, and the thoughts we're already having. I call it the ultimate transformation. And I often get this question, how do you get all these things done? It's just so much to do, and especially during COVID, my life has dramatically changed from moving to a different house, revisiting my personal relationships, starting my business. Oh yes, quitting the job. but we all have the same time. In fact, we don't have the past and the future, we really have the moment. So I say, because there's no time, time cannot be an excuse. And what we're going to learn today is really how to manage ourselves in the time we got. So let's go ahead and jump. So every transformation starts with stating what's so. Let's just go ahead. There is no right or wrong. In fact, answers in any of what we are having a conversation today about. Whatever is the answer for today. So go ahead and use the chat on your worksheets. How is your time management right now? And you can see on the scale from 0 to 10. Where do you rate yourself? 7.5. Oh, wow, there's some numbers here. 6.37. I gotta take that one. 6, 7. Someone is a number person here. 4. All right. So let's look at what is already working well. Thank you for all the digits. There's always, always, always something that is already working well for you. So what is it? Thank you for all the answers. For me, I think what's working, it's interesting, it's the constant looking at what else can I improve, what else can I improve, and watching all my calendars from the top master calendar all the way to minutia to-do list. I have a good overall discipline in my schedule. So being disciplined, getting things on the roll when it's on your calendar. So what else that is working well? Maybe a particular system you're already using, prioritizing. Yes. I'm working out now and I am decluttering this morning. Google Calendars, have an ideal overlay, beautiful. And let's go ahead and switch and look at what's not working. So the reason you're here, probably want to learn something and adjust, reevaluate and upgrade what's not working. So what is it that is not yet working? I think what's not working for me is I still get overwhelmed and it's like nonstop. By the end of the day, it's hard to stop. I try to put everything on my Outlook monthly calendar. Okay. Time blocking effectively. Okay, see that it's still working. Getting overwhelmed by deadlines. Oh, yes. And look, now we've got holidays coming up. It's not really deadlines, but there is a challenge with time and food and bad sleeping schedule. Okay. So this is just us stating what's so. In order for us to move forward and have, if I may say, a breakthrough in our transformation, we just want to state what's so, no right or wrong. Having trouble saying no, not having a weekly 15-minute scheduled meeting with myself. Okay. So feel free to write those down for yourself as well. We're gonna look at them today. Let's jump into 168 rule. I really want to see in the chat. Who knows what it is? That is why this slide exists. I'm not going to tell you yet. Tell me, what is 168 rule? Little hint, we're talking about time. Okay. Of course, everybody knows here or not. It is the number of hours we have in the week. Sure, let's get down to work. What I'd like us to do right now, we are not yet upgrading anything. We are still looking at what's so. Look at your week, this current week, that I'm going to say started from Monday and finishing tomorrow. Let's look, and just as a sample, according to this pie, how many hours have you done sleeping? How many hours have you done working? Eating, commuting, family time, all the personal activities. And what other, of course, this pie is a very simple pie, but what other activities that are regular on your calendar? So this is just our sample to see how am I dealing with my schedule now. I'm going to give us, how much time do we need? A couple of minutes. All right. I think we need some music when we have the timer going. All right. Okay, so 2 minutes. And I'm going to actually grab my electronic calendar. Approximately, so we're not looking yet at those minute per minute, just approximate idea.
Nadia, can you please repeat the question?
So what I'm asking right now is to look at your calendar. Oh, I see my volume was not as high. Look at your calendar and or your time schedule for this week. I'm looking at the week that just happened. I'm going to say from Monday to Sunday. And just approximately, we're going to use this pie as an example. Let's look at how many hours did you sleep total per week, because we are playing from the picture of 168 hours a week. How many hours did you work? I'm going to say mine was 40 hours. Okay, so just a general. I know that some things already happen, appointments, and we can put them as well on the pie. So each pie will be just your individual pie. Okay? All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That was 2 minutes. It felt like 10 seconds. Okay. So I'm curious, when you were writing those hours, did you already see what you possibly can adjust or would like to adjust? What was in your mind that you were doing while you were doing this pie? So go ahead and use the chat if you don't mind. What I actually saw this, according to this pie, there's 30 hours of time to pursue my dream. I want to work on those 30 hours today. I want to be very effective. How I can adjust those hours to what I want. Okay. All right. And again, feel free to use the chat. Working on my sleep. Okay. So when you say working on your sleep, what does that mean? Is it more hours to sleep, better routine to fall asleep, better routine waking up? So a little more clarity. Getting more hours of sleep. Okay. So that's something I consider to work on today. All right, thank you everyone. Let's go ahead and jump in. So what we will do from this moment, we are going to look at our future upgraded time blocking. And here's how I'd like us to look at our new calendar based on our priorities. So again, something you can work in your worksheets and with me in the chat. What are your top 5 priorities in life? There are some ideas. Taking care of your body, your mind and soul, your family, career, friendships, volunteering, traveling, whatever that is on your list. And I will be very interested to see the chat. So top 5 priorities. And in fact, go ahead and write them in the way you can actually see them as often as every day. Sometimes when the time gets too heavy for us and we feel overwhelmed, we want to remind ourselves is what's important for me. Okay, I see some hours here. Okay. So what are your top priorities? Number 1, Project A. I think those ideas I will change a little bit of the order, but it's similar to what my priorities are. All right. And when you're done, by the way, feel free to maybe give me thumbs up so I know that the speed is good. We can move on. Number 1 is family. Everything else seems off that. Okay. All right. Everyone's got their priorities. Number 1, my main career project. 2, self-care is a goal. Okay. Project family, another project. Okay, I will be curious. And the fitness, work on school, have time for myself, family time, volunteer, anything else. Great. All right, thank you. And I do invite you to actually consider to find 5 areas of your life that are important to you. And you can actually even prioritize them. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch to being a health coach. I'm going to remind us that those priorities in life are amazing. That's what drives our mission. That's what actually drives us to do those things. And it's funny, but I like the school bus. So here's what this seems like an overwhelming slide, but imagine life is like a map. There's so many routes to go, so many places to be, and there's so many directions to take. And we kind of have a vision of what we want, isn't it? We have some vision of destination, some things we want to do, achieve, long-term, short-term. And that is great. And the vehicle that is going to deliver us to those goals and destinations is our own body. So the school bus is the body. So imagine if you're going on a road trip and your vehicle doesn't have any gas. I'm going to say it's the fuel of nutrition. Or if you put the gas that doesn't belong in there. Or I forgot to pump my tires. Or there's no engine. I am burned out. How is my vehicle going to get me there? What we want to look at is taking care of our vehicle regularly, just like a vehicle that is taking us to the destination. Main checks, ongoing maintenance checks. What are they? Again, we're looking at what do we feed our body with? Do we move? And what thoughts are we having? Okay, or in the mindset, I can say it's the mindset and soul and your spirit. So when we look at our calendar, I'd like us to really be very focusful on looking at prioritizing our self-care as well. This is a weird slide, but I'm going to tell you what it is about. The National Institutes of Health, there was a study done on sleep. And it's really interesting new study, but what it is discovered that when we are awake, our body accumulates a protein that is toxic. And the best way to get rid of that protein is while the brain is resting or we're sleeping. By the way, when I read this article, I thought, wow, that's why meditation works. So when we sleep, there's fluid in the brain that is so actively moving and releasing this toxic protein out of the brain. And it's moving really slow when we are awake. So having adequate numbers of sleep, hours of sleep is really important, and restful sleep. I want us to look at movement. I know we can do it later. I know we can do it this evening, tomorrow, next week, but regular exercise changes the brain activity. You probably heard improves memory, thinking skills. In fact, just notice when we have a break and we will get up, then after you finish your break, you sit down, you feel refreshed. The brain is refreshed, the oxygen is back to the body, neural pathways are active, neurons are firing. We have to move, we have to exercise. So let's block those times and let's put our self-care in the calendar. Fueling your body. When we, and I address this in a second, but when we eat while multitasking, the brain does not catch what exactly we're doing. Are we cell phoning or we're eating? So it's, yes, fueling our body with proper nutrition, but also paying attention while we're consuming that food. So there's three main ongoing maintenance checks. Our brain, our mind, our physical body with movement, physical body with nutrition are so crucially important. So once again, it's really, I just want to remind us, it's not about, yes, it is about taking extra time, but we already have 168 hours a week. It's being intentional. What I consume when I'm already consuming that fuel. It's being intentional when I'm moving, what I'm already doing. And it's being intentional. What thoughts am I giving to myself? How am I allowing my brain to rest? Okay, so it's utilizing those already time and moments that we're already doing those things. Okay. Feeling like a teacher here. With that said, sometimes, especially around holidays, I know life is not going to get darker, but life is going to get busier. And in some days when it feels like, okay, this day, I do not want to remember it in my life. When it gets darker, please let's shine the self-care brighter. Imagine it's like a light bulb. You don't see it really much in the daylight. Life is good. But in the night, the same lit light bulb, you can see it really well. I really want us to look at the self-care this way. Dial it up like that stereo on the radio when the life gets tougher. That's in my case, how I've gone through all these changes in my life. Self-care. Disciplined. I guess I'm Russian, so we've got discipline going on. Okay. With that said, so let's go ahead and look at, let me see how many slides we've got and when to take a break. Okay, so based on what we talked about, or me in the last few minutes, let's go ahead and look at the same week that we looked at a few minutes ago, and just approximately decide what would you like to adjust or see differently. Again, there is no right or wrong, just decide, okay, I'd like maybe, I was looking, my run is 3 hours, is it really 3? Where do I go? Where do I spend my time? How do I eat? Oh yeah, I didn't even put any time for my food. So just a little bit of adjustment. Okay. Yes, thank you for the link for the article. Yes, perfect. And feel free to use the chat. I think where I'm going to adjust is looking also at my work hours and decide, am I utilizing my work hours in the way that they have to be? Do I put my self-care in the work hours? There's a couple of ideas while you're looking at your week. Let's look at multitasking real quick. So knowing how the brain is designed, there's really no multitasking. What it is switching from one task to another. In fact, when we are cell phoning and eating, I don't know if there is expression cell phoning, but I'm gonna create it. And eating, that's what brain is doing. That's why sometimes we eat the full plate and still feel hungry. Well, the brain didn't catch up. So let's look at, I'm going to reframe it just a little bit differently. I'm going to say tapping into another activity. So while I'm saying those examples, look at what can be your example. And by the way, if something comes to your mind, I'm really interested. Go ahead and use the chat. For example, when you have a phone call, I know on Zoom, you can take an exercise ball, by the way, here's on the right bottom. Do some hip circles while you're on the exercise ball. Do some jumping up and down, make a little fun. And when you're on the phone call, you can actually stand up, walk around, even look outside. And emotionally, it feels so much better. Okay. Also, if you have a study, a course, something you're listening, when you go for a walk, make sure you're walking safely, not really plugging your ears that deep so you can hear other people for safety. But it's a great opportunity to listen. In fact, my headset is through my bones, so I can hear everything outside. That's how I've done 2 of my recent schools, 1-year certificates while walking and running. Also, the picture on the top right, I don't know if you can see it really well, but what I noticed is when I take the time to eat, I'm going to call it fooditate, which means meditation on the food. I'm going to take time, even if it's 5 minutes. I'm going to not do anything in 5 minutes and focus on food, even close my eyes. What it helps, again, I'm giving my brain signal that I am consuming food. And it's actually one of the best ways to keep the weight off or lose it. And also I noticed my brain is really clear. When I get up from fooditation, meditation while eating, I feel rested. So just try it. All right, so tapping into another activities. Any other ideas? When I look at my priorities and my actual schedule, there is mismatch. Some of my priorities I identified get less than optimal time allocation. Okay. I got it. Thank you for expressing that. Also, before we start time blocking, consider this concept. Some of you know that, called power hour. In fact, it actually scares me when I hear hour. For me, it's like 15 minutes. And I put my own alarm, 15 minutes. Somehow this 10, 15 minutes make me work laser focus. And I get so much more done in that power time. Power hour can be with your associates or your schoolmates. Sit down together, acknowledge what we're all going to work on and do it. In fact, with my associates, we do power hour, but 10 minutes increments. Laser focus. Okay, so with that said, our next one is actually going to, oh no, the way I printed the slides, they're not in the order that I'm used to seeing. Okay, transitions. Another concept to be in mind when we block the schedule. Some of the schedules look like one appointment on top of another, like there's not a free line or space between appointments. I actually encourage us when we time block to create transitions. What are they? They're basically breaks. Why do we need them? Well, hey, I'm a human being. I need a bathroom. That's my first example. I'm thinking about, I need a glass of water. If I was so intense and I forget to drink my water, I'm actually going to get up. Please get up in those transitional times. If you want to do those tricep dips like the lady on the chair, grab a glass of water, rest your eyes from the screen, please do that. What they also help is leave what just happened, release whatever was happening, that tension, and set intention for your next appointment. Prepare, be early, be on time, be ready. Otherwise, it feels like whatever just happened, I'm going to bring all that emotional weight into the next appointment. Okay, can you see the benefit of those pit stops? They can be 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Usually I schedule 15, but this is I know what I need to get done in between those appointments. Okay, sure. I'm going to announce that we're taking a 2-minute break. Let's go ahead and get up, grab your glass of water, grab your calendar, journal, bullet journal, whatever you're using. As soon as we get back, let's do the actual time blocking of our next week that is coming up. Okay. All right. I'm going to start the timer. I forgot the music. I was going to prepare like a happy music, something boogie boogie, but I don't have it. So I'm just going to keep quiet. The time is now. All right, everyone. Let's go ahead and come back. All right, everyone is back. Those 2 minutes go fast when you don't want them to go fast. Okay, I hope you got your calendar with you. I am being mindful also of the time. So let's go ahead and work really productive in our last segment of this workshop. I believe the last segment should be shorter, and I will do my best to finish on top of the hour and leave the space for questions. Okay, let's time block. The printout that you have as an optional in the Google Drive is something you can utilize if you want to just not mess up with your current calendar, or open up your current calendar. So here's how I would normally do. Maybe you have your own procedure, but let's look at this variation. Number one is decide, especially if this is something new for you. Decide where you're going to keep a track. Is it paper, bullet journal, my kids love it, Google Calendar, iPad, your phone? And decide actually if you want to use something for fun, like colors, markers, stickers. Let's make it fun. Sometimes time management gets so dragging and just overwhelming even think about it. So let's make it fun. In fact, one of my clients, she loves stickers. She says, that's how I get my things done, when I see sticker on my calendar. Okay. All right, I see power hour sounds good. I usually do power hours late at night when I have to finish something beautiful. So based on that, let me know if you already have your decision, how you're going to keep a track. And our next step, this looks like, oh my gosh, what this is. Step number 2, let's look on the left top. Master calendar is what really helps me to keep a track of my, like a mastery of my life. And I'm just going to look at this year, for example, 2022, or starting today, all the way till next year. I decided that, in fact, just last weekend, I only printed 4 months. And this is my master calendar that has a general picture of what events, courses, webinars, paying taxes I have to do, that they're not particularly on my daily routine, but it's a master bird eyes view. Did I say it right, Bob? He was laughing at me last night, did I? Bird's eye view, here you go. Hey, second language, give me a break. Okay, so master calendar, go ahead and look at starting today and maybe till the end of this year, maybe January, or if you really want to go and look at next year, jot down, okay, here's what happens as my important activities. Feel free to take a screenshot. By the way, if you want the slides, please email me and I can send you the copy of the slides, so you can also work with them on your own, because I know that's a lot. And I will send you a replay as well, so don't worry. Next, what we want to look at is our monthly. So monthly that's pretty much what I did with my printouts. I put everything or some what I already know that honestly, let's say I cannot control. Well, yes, I can control when I'm teaching webinar, but once it's there, okay? So that is, again, a big view of my month. And sometimes I just schedule month by month, but because holidays seems like one entire season, I decided 4 months ahead. So really first, what we want to put in the calendar is something that we genuinely cannot control. And this is my favorite, something we desire to happen. For example, a trip. Okay. The next one, I know we're going quite fast. So again, recording will be available. The next one, we're going to put on the calendar what we can control. In fact, sometimes I just put question mark this date or question mark that date, so I can decide. So what can we control? Preparation time, certain activities, again, certain trips. Okay, so based on those two things I cannot control, things I can control, how does my weekly agenda looks like? And here's the tip I got from one of my clients. She said, Nadia, if I do daily, I'm setting myself to failure. It's going to be ongoing, judging myself because I can't complete all this, even self-care activities. No. So what she created is a weekly agenda of her self-care activities and other things she wants to do. And then she looks at this week, and the week is still broken into 7 days. And if she sees 20 minutes, she's, oh, 20 minutes, I can do movement, treadmill, check. I have 10 minutes, I can do meditation, grab that thing, check. And this way she can see what she has and has not yet accomplished in that week and actually implement those activities. Okay, so with that said, our self-care, some of it I'm actually desire to happen, my running time, nobody's taking it away from me. Sure, it is under my control, but I'm going to say it's control that I'm not controlling. It's always there on my calendar. And certain things, the methods of implementation, I can actually adjust a little bit. It doesn't have to be 7 p.m. twice or 3 times a week. It can be 6 p.m. It can be 10 minutes instead of 30 minutes. So it's the concept actually about the self-care. What are non-negotiable self-care, and the methods of implementation we can actually negotiate. How is it happening? Go ahead and use the chat. How is your time blocking? There's a lot of talking here from me. Are you getting some ideas? So based on that, based on the picture from top and closer to daily activities, then we can decide. Really love the idea of weekly with the client, yes. Then we can decide how those daily tasks might look like. Just like with her, right now, her schedule is all around the children. So she has the list of what she wants to accomplish, and she just implements them in her daily tasks, but again, she sees her weekly goals. So then those daily tasks can be more focusful and more effective. Can you see how we started with what are my 5 big areas? What is my annual or my master plan? What are the things I cannot and can control? Okay, and then going all the way to those little details. And other people's agendas and appointments are going to be there last. Okay. I'm going to switch the slide, color blacken, okay. Need to come up with lists of short plug-in activities, personal and business. Oh, yes, yes, yes. That's a good option, good idea. Write it down for yourself. So this is something you can take a look. All right, so what happens if unexpected happens? What do we do? Well, guess what? Because we already have a plan, a structure. Now we can actually meet unexpected with somewhat, if I may say, peace. It's almost like when I walk in the library and it's dozens of millions of books in there and 10 fall. At least the library still has a structure. Versus I'm walking in a place with messy books all over the place. There's no structure and it's just overwhelming. And again, this is just a startup conversation. It is a huge topic for our time management. So let's strive for progress. In fact, I'm still playing with my calendars, not perfection. Okay, so there's no perfect. The more we work on it, the more we adjust and see what's working, what's not working. We're striving for progress. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, shake it out and let's jump into the last segment of our conversation is the tips to avoid procrastination. So I'm looking at the time and I think I need about 10 more minutes. Is everyone okay with that? Okay, all right. And if you need to leave, no worries, the replay will be sent to you just in about a couple of hours after we finish. Okay, let's jump. This is fun. Number 1, have your end goal in front of you. It's that big why that sometimes I say makes you cry. What is it that you really want? What is it that you're striving towards? It's almost like the destination on the map. I have it in the representation of my vision board that I'm looking at every day. Because the days when I have alarm clock waking me up and I am not happy at my alarm clock, I have that goal in front of me and I'm going to get up. Number 2 tip to avoid procrastination. Who have heard of Eisenhower matrix? The other way to say is priorities matrix. Beautiful. So what it is, and this matrix, by the way, is on your optional handout. Let's say it's 4 squares that you can see here. And the top 2 are important things in our life. One is urgent, one is not urgent. The bottom is not important, which is urgent and non-urgent. So when you look at your day, and sometimes I'm like, 20 things to do? I will not have time. I'm using the Eisenhower matrix. What is important and urgent that I must do first? I go into my calendar, I block the time to do that thing, making sure that I have enough time for that. What's on my list that is important but not urgent? And in fact, I go and find the time, maybe I can block another day. What's on my list that is not important but urgent? To delegate. Hey, my child, please wash dishes for me, I don't have time. Or delegate to my team. What's on the list that is not important, not urgent? Maybe eliminate, or there's a trick Brendan Burchard says, I will do it next year. Guess what happens when you do it next year? You're just going to eliminate it, cross out, not there. Okay. So this is our tips when we feel too many things to do. How do I do what's important? And in fact, one of the tips that really helps me as well, when the day, I just know the day is going to be crazy. I ask myself a question, what is just one thing I can do today? And if I only do that thing, at the end of the day, I feel accomplished. That the day actually was lived worthwhile. What is that thing? And I just start with that thing. Most of the time it's the one that we don't want to do, but we know it's important and kind of urgent. Okay. Tip number 3, it's my favorite, accountability. Oh boy. Sure, I'm going to break accountability into 2 elements. Sometimes we think about accountability, someone else is going to help us. But let's look at our own internal accountability. We are looking at our calendars. We are setting our alarms. We talked about power hour, half an hour. Bullet journals to keep a track of our habits. Well, here you go, trackers. Sticker reminders, planners, assessments. What kind of internal system can you have for you to keep yourself accountable when no one is watching? That's what it's called, internal. Okay, go ahead and use the chat, please. Do you have an idea or 2 that I don't have here on the list? And external system is pretty much the one we know. Teaming up with someone, having a buddy, ask a parent or sibling or spouse or someone who is accountability partner who will take our hand and journey with us upward, not downward. Okay, not going to take accountability partner who's going to say, oh, there you work so hard, let's go watch a movie with popcorn. Well, maybe, but there's time for that. Okay, or in fact, teaching someone. Teach what you learn. It creates such a rush of excitement. Wow, I can do this thing. I think that's why I'm in this business as well. Okay, this is one of my favorites. Tip number 4, create urgency. The way I look at it, it's almost like an internal system of being accountable. I'm going to create my own urgency for myself. For example, no one is watching, but I know I have this task and I know I can complete it in 10 minutes. I'm going to set me an alarm and put alarm in front of my eyes. Or I'm going to text my kids and I'm going to say dinner at 6. Guess what I'm doing also? I know I have to stop working at 4 so I can transition, meditate, and maybe start cooking. Well, no, I need to stop at 3:30. Here you go. I'm creating my own way of setting the urgency. There's so many variations, but that's what just on top of my mind. Okay. Alarm clock, alarm on smartphone. Yes, okay. And here's one of my favorites as well. Who have heard of the 5-second rule? Yes, so what is it? Like if something falls on the floor and you're joking, you've got 5 seconds, pick it up. Well, it's kind of similar thing. The minute that alarm clock tells you your 10 minutes is up, we have only 5 seconds to count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Physically get up, finish the task right away. If we don't do that in 5 seconds, the brain is going to talk us out of it. It is incredible and it works. There are studies on that. Okay, so my invitation to all of you is, what is your action steps? Go ahead and use the chat. Let us know, what are you taking on based on what you learned today? And let's just do it. And if you feel like, oh my goodness, that is a lot, and I need my accountability and I need my community. This picture was taken last month. I invite you to join our community, where together we become stronger in our bodies and minds, more energized, calm. We're feeling lighter, confident, consistent in balancing our daily routine. We're learning sustainable, healthy habits, such as mindful eating, even looking forward towards the exercise. How it looks like in our groups, we do work on those 3 pillars of nutrition, fitness, and mindset. How? We meet together for fitness. It's all virtual. There are 3 levels of fitness classes in the morning, afternoon, every day. Level 1, fusion flow for limited mobility. Level 2, low impact. And level 3, high impact. Plenty of choices, unlimited participation. It's almost like going to the gym. We meet once a week for coaching sessions, and that's where we tap into the nutrition, the mindset. We also have our weekly and daily accountability, daily private chat check-ins. Right now we have fitness and water going on, and you will have a personal access with me as your coach. So the way it looks like from the moment you join, you're journeying with us for 6 months. The actual price is $497 for just 3 days. I'd like to give you a discount of $200. So it's only $297 monthly for 6 months. And all these bonuses, it's almost like a lot to read, but the moment you are registering, I'm going to send you the invitation to a deep dive session. It's valued at $250. It's one-on-one to help you get started properly, especially if it's fitness or if something with comfort foods. We're going to dive deep and jumpstart your journey. All the sessions are recorded and you get them complimentary on demand, fitness and coaching. So it's really, you don't miss any. You will also have a couple of courses and monthly 15-minute emergency calls. Hey, Nadia, I just cannot figure out why those vegetables are not liking by me. You can do that as well. And every 3 months, you will have a private session with me, I guess, to revisit and see how we can move you forward successfully in the journey. Okay, so with that said, please join our community to help you find balance in life, strength in body and mind. We will be together for 6 months. So just for these 3 days, that will be midnight Monday. The price is $297. The link is here. Bob, if you can put it in the chat as well. It's coachingbynadia.com/groups. And I will also email you the link and the details that you see here. All right. Please remember, the transformation starts from the moment of action. Love this image. If you have any questions, you know where to reach me, coachingbynadia.com. Here's my cell phone. I'm going to keep it handy for a few hours. Please remember, knowing doesn't make a difference, doing does. Oh, I see someone is bouncing on the exercise ball. So take your actions, find support, accountability, join our group, and let's not spend any more time. Let's invest your time. That's